Chatterbait and a vibrating jig, whatever you want to call it, has gotten a ton of attention over the past several years, and it's really something that I feel like the fish aren't getting used to. You know, a lot of baits out there, they're really a flash in the pan for a little while, and then the fish kind of adjust. But vibrating jigs here to stay, in my opinion. And you know, a lot of things are coming to play with it when you're talking about size, trying to get it down deeper, trying to get it to ride higher, things like that. And I will give you just a basic breakdown of how I like to classify the trailers that I'm trying to throw on it. So, you know, just a regular size, full size, like this jackhammer right here. A good starting point for me always is this Kamikaze Swim On. This is the 3 3/4 size. Is also available in a 4 1/4. So if you're wanting to mimic those small bait fish but still have a big heavier type bait with a good thump to it, that's a good option. And if you're wanting to, you know, mimic the bigger bait fish, that 4 1/4 is a great go-to as well. And it's kind of the middle of the road. It's not going to be a trailer that's going to want to make the bait ride really high, and it's also not going to be a trailer that's going to let it dive. So if you're really looking for something that's going to let your bait get down a little bit deeper, say you're throwing a 3/4 ounce out on some deeper grass lines, or a 1/2 ounce, just anytime I'm out in the more open grass, I really like a pintail trailer. This is a Kamikaze split tail right here. And it's just a bait going to let the jackhammer hunt more. It's going to let it have kind of a unique action, more freedom, and it has absolutely nothing to let the bait ride up. If you're going to use a swim bait on different chatterbaits, you basically have to change sizes. If you're going to throw a swim bait on a 1/2, it's going to act more like a 3/8. If you're going to throw it on a 3/8, it's going to act more like a 1/4. And this is kind of the exact opposite. You're going to get a little bit deeper out of that same size weight of a chatterbait. And then, something that's got really popular the last few years is these smaller ones, such as this Mini Max. And this is one that I've played around with some, caught a lot of fish on it, but I've really just gotten, mostly to just a swim bait trailer on it. And I like something small like this Suicide Shad right here. This is a 3.5 inch. You can definitely overpower that small blade, that small profile with too big of a trailer. So you really want to match that small Mini Max or the Micro Max up to very small trailers, something that doesn't have a whole lot of pull. You don't want a really big boot tail on it either, something slim, something small profiled that's just going to let that bait have its natural action. So hopefully these chatterbait tips will help you out. There's a lot of different trailers out there, and they all catch fish and they all have their place. Make sure you check us out at Real Deal Tackle.